I need you to stop what you are doing right now and pay close attention, because your knees may be sending you a warning signal that most people completely ignore until it is far too late. Here is what I want you to do. Find the bottom step of a staircase in your home. It does not matter if it is the stairs going up to your bedroom, the 2 steps leading down to your garage, or a single step outside your back door. Just find one step, stand on it with both feet. Place one hand lightly on the railing for safety. Now, slowly step down with one leg as if you are stepping off a curb, and let that one leg absorb your full body weight as you lower yourself down. Do not drop. Do not plop. Descend under control. What happened? Did your knee grind and crunch like gravel shifting beneath your foot? Did the leg shake and wobble, the muscles trembling like they were struggling to hold back something they were not prepared for? Maybe you just dropped the last 2 inches because your leg gave out on you. Or perhaps you felt that sharp electric warning on the inner or outer edge of your knee, that deep aching pressure that told you something is not right in there. If any of that just happened to you, I need you to hear this clearly. That sensation is not simply aging. That grinding, that shaking, that collapse is a measurable clinical event. It is cartilage under abnormal stress, combined with a failure of your stabilizing muscles to control the descent. And together, those two things are among the most reliable early warning signs that your knees and your legs are on a trajectory that ends in a fall, a fracture, or a permanent loss of independence. I have spent more than 20 years as a board-certified orthopedic surgeon specializing in patients over 60. I have seen this pattern hundreds of times. Patients come in walking with a subtle limp they have been dismissing for months. They tell me stairs have gotten harder recently. They tell me they have been holding the railing a bit more than they used to. And in nearly every case, by the time they are sitting across from me, the damage has been building quietly for years. So let me explain exactly why this happens. Because understanding the problem is what makes the solution make sense. When you step down a stair, your knee absorbs a force that is roughly 3 to 4 times your body weight. In a healthy knee with strong surrounding muscles, that force spreads evenly across the joint surface, absorbed like a well-built shock absorber. But when the muscles controlling that descent are weak, the force concentrates in small areas instead of spreading out. The cartilage cannot handle it. And over time, it wears away faster than your body can repair it. That grinding you felt is not just noise, it is that uneven pressure in action. Here is what is driving that muscle weakness. After 60, the human body loses what are called fast-twitch muscle fibers at an accelerated rate. These are the fibers responsible for quick force production, for rapid corrections, for catching yourself when your balance shifts unexpectedly. Think of them as your emergency response team inside the muscle. And after 60, that team starts disappearing at a rate that can reach 3 to 5% per year if you are not actively fighting back. Now here is where it gets important. The single most critical muscle for protecting your knee is one most people have never heard of. It is called the gluteus medius, and it sits on the outer side of your hip, roughly where the side pocket of your pants would be. Its job is to keep your pelvis level every time you take a step. When your right foot is in the air mid-stride, your left gluteus medius fires to prevent the right side of your pelvis from dropping. When that muscle is weak, the pelvis drops, the thigh bone angles inward, and the knee gets dragged across its own joint surface instead of tracking smoothly. That is the mechanical cause behind most of the knee pain and cartilage wear I see in patients over 60. And here is the part that frustrates me the most. Most seniors are told to just walk more. Walking is wonderful for your heart and your circulation. I encourage it. But walking is a low-demand, rhythmic activity. It does not rebuild fast-twitch fibers. It does not challenge the gluteus medius under real load. It does not train the eccentric control your knee needs for stairs, curbs, and uneven ground. If your mechanics are already breaking down, walking more can actually accelerate the very wear pattern you are trying to stop. What you need is targeted, specific movement, and I am going to walk you through 5 of them right now. No gym, no equipment, Just your body, a sturdy chair, and a wall. Before we start, please put on shoes with a rubber, non-slip sole if you are not already wearing them. Socks on a hard floor are one of the most preventable causes of home falls I encounter. Shoes on? Good. Let us begin. The first movement is the controlled step down, and it is essentially a structured version of the test you just took, because the test and the treatment are the same exercise. Find your bottom stair again. Stand on it with both feet and hold the railing with one hand. Shift all your weight onto your right leg, keeping your chest tall and your right knee tracking directly over your second toe, not caving inward and not bowing outward. Slowly lower your left foot toward the floor. Take a full 4 seconds to complete that descent. 4 full seconds. When your left foot touches the ground, press through your right heel and use that right leg to bring yourself back up to the starting position. Do 6 repetitions on the right leg, then switch and do 6 on the left. The first time you do this, it will feel wobbly and uncertain. That is expected. What you are looking for over the coming weeks is that the wobble decreases, the trembling slows, the grinding quiets. That progression is your body telling you the system is being restored. If the movement causes sharp, stabbing pain that feels like something catching inside the joint, stop and consult your doctor before continuing. But mild burning and fatigue in the front of the thigh are not only acceptable, they are the goal. Now let us move to the second movement, and this one targets your balance system directly. What most people do not realize is that balance is not just about your inner ear. It is about a continuous conversation between your feet, your ankles, your hips, and your brain. The nerve endings in your joints are constantly sending position signals upward, so your brain knows exactly where your body is in space. When that signal slows down, you fall. This exercise sharpens it. Stand beside your kitchen counter or a solid chair back. Place one hand lightly on the surface, just your fingertips, not a full grip. Shift your weight onto your left foot and lift your right foot just 2 inches off the floor. Stand there, breathe. Feel the tiny micro adjustments happening in your left ankle right now. That is your balance system firing. Hold for 20 seconds, then switch legs and hold for another 20 seconds. Repeat this cycle 3 times on each side. Once this feels manageable, try removing your hand from the counter and simply hovering it an inch above the surface so you can catch yourself if needed. Clinical research has shown that daily single-leg balance training done consistently for 6 weeks can reduce fall risk by nearly 40% in adults over 65. 40% from a movement that costs you nothing? The third movement is the slow chair sit, and this one reflects your real-world independence more directly than almost anything else. Think about how many times a day you sit down and stand up, getting off the toilet, getting out of the car, rising from the dinner table. When this movement becomes unreliable, people begin quietly avoiding situations where they have to do it. They stop going to restaurants, they stop visiting friends. That avoidance is the first step toward isolation, and isolation after 60 carries its own severe health consequences. Sit on the edge of a sturdy chair, not a soft couch, and not a recliner. Scoot your hips forward near the front of the seat. Place your feet flat on the floor, slightly wider than your hips. Now, cross your arms over your chest. This removes your hands and forces your legs to do the work alone. Lean your chest slightly forward over your feet and press through your heels to stand up. Now, here is the critical part. Sit back down in no less than 4 seconds. 4 slow, controlled seconds of descent. Think of it this way. You are lowering yourself onto a single raw egg balanced on the seat, and your mission is to not crack it. That slowness is exactly where the strength rebuilding happens. Do 10 repetitions. If you cannot yet do this without your hands, that is fine. Touch the chair arms with your fingertips as a safety net, but do not grip and push. Use your hands a little less with each passing week and mark that progress. When you can complete 10 clean repetitions with arms crossed, your legs are in a fundamentally different place than they are today. Moving right along to the fourth movement, this is where we directly target that gluteus medius weakness I described. Stand sideways next to your counter or wall, near hand resting lightly on the surface. Stand tall, feet together, shoulders back. Now, keeping your torso absolutely vertical like a flagpole driven into the ground, slowly lift your outer leg directly to the side. Not forward, not backward, directly to the side. 6 to 8 inches of elevation is all you need. Hold at the top for 2 seconds. Feel where the effort lives. You should feel a deep, burning engagement on the outer side of the hip of the lifting leg. That is the gluteus medius waking up from a long sleep. Lower the legs slowly over 3 seconds. Do 10 repetitions on each side. The most common mistake here is leaning your whole torso over the standing leg to get the other leg higher. Keep that torso straight. A smaller, honest range of motion beats a larger, dishonest one every single time. After 2 to 3 weeks of consistent work on this movement, most people report feeling more planted and grounded when they walk. That sensation has a precise explanation. The muscle responsible for keeping the pelvis level has been restored, and the chain reaction of knee caving and grinding begins to resolve from the top down. The fifth and final movement is the wall-supported calf raise with a slow lower, and this one does double duty. Your calf muscles are responsible for pushing your body forward on every step, but they also stabilize your ankle, which is the first line of defense when you step onto an uneven surface. When they weaken, your stride shortens, your walking speed slows, and your ankle becomes unreliable on anything other than perfectly flat ground. Strong calves keep you moving confidently through real life. Stand behind a sturdy chair with both hands on the backrest, feet hip-width apart. Rise up onto the balls of both feet as high as you can. Squeeze your calf muscles hard at the very top and hold for 2 seconds. Then lower your heels back down in 4 slow, deliberate seconds. 4 seconds down. That slow lowering builds tendon, resilience, and muscular strength faster than the upward phase does. Do 12 repetitions. As you get stronger over the following weeks, try doing this 1 foot at a time. Single leg calf raises are a significant challenge and an even more significant builder of ankle stability and overall balance. That is your 5-movement protocol. Take a moment, sit down, and drink some water. You have earned it. But we are not done, because what I am about to tell you is the part that determines whether everything you just did actually rebuilds your knees or simply exhausts them. Exercise does not build muscle. I know that sounds backward, but it is the biological truth. Exercise damages muscle. It creates tiny microscopic tears in the muscle fibers. The building, the repair, the strengthening, all of that happens after the exercise, during recovery, and it can only happen if your body has the raw materials to do the construction work. If you exercise without supplying those materials, you are creating damage without repair. Over time, that is not progress. That is breakdown. So let me tell you about 2 specific nutritional priorities that most seniors are missing, and that most doctors are simply not talking about in the context of knee health and fall prevention. The first is vitamin B12, and this one is critically important for a reason most people do not expect. B12 is not directly a muscle-building nutrient. It is a nerve health nutrient. And nerves are the wiring that runs the entire balance and stability system we have been discussing today. The nerve endings in your feet and ankles are constantly sending position signals to your brain. They are telling your brain where the ground is, how your weight is shifting, and when a correction needs to happen. When that signal is fast and precise, you catch yourself before you fall. When it is slow and degraded, you do not. Here's the problem. As you age, your body absorbs B12 less and less efficiently from food alone. Studies have found that nearly 1 in 5 adults over 60 in the United States has B12 levels below what is needed for healthy nerve function. When those levels fall, the protective coating around your nerve fibers begins to thin. Signals slow down. The feedback from your feet and ankles becomes delayed and imprecise. Your brain is working with outdated information about where your body is in space. And when you step off a curb or onto an uneven surface, the correction signal arrives a fraction of a second too late. That fraction of a second is exactly what a fall is made of. Ask your doctor for a simple B12 blood test at your next visit. If your levels are low, a sublingual B12 supplement, meaning one that dissolves under the tongue and absorbs directly into your bloodstream, is one of the most effective options because it bypasses the absorption problem in the digestive system. Doses between 500 and 1,000 micrograms daily are commonly used, but always confirm the right amount with your physician. The second nutritional priority is one that addresses both your muscles and your joint inflammation at the same time, and it comes from a source that might surprise you: shelled hemp seeds. Before you scroll past that, hear me out, because the nutritional profile of hemp seeds is genuinely remarkable for adults over 60 dealing with joint pain and muscle loss. 3 tablespoons of shelled hemp seeds deliver approximately 10 grams of complete protein, meaning they contain all 9 essential amino acids your body cannot produce on its own. For seniors who struggle to eat enough protein at breakfast, which is the meal where most Americans fall the shortest, adding 3 tablespoons of hemp seeds to yogurt, oatmeal, or a smoothie is one of the simplest upgrades you can make. But the protein is only half the story. Hemp seeds contain a naturally occurring ratio of omega-6 to omega-3 fatty acids that is nearly ideal for managing inflammation throughout the body and specifically within the joint space. Chronic inflammation in your knee joint accelerates the breakdown of cartilage. The omega-3 fatty acids in hemp seeds work at the molecular level to reduce that inflammatory process, essentially turning down the fire that is quietly destroying the tissue your knee depends on. You can find shelled hemp seeds, sometimes labeled hemp hearts, at most grocery stores and virtually every health food store in the United States. They have a mild, slightly nutty flavor. 3 tablespoons per day added to whatever you are already eating is a realistic and sustainable place to start. Now, while we are on the topic of protein, I want to make sure you understand one critical point about how aging changes your protein needs. As you get older, your muscles become less sensitive to the muscle-building signal that protein triggers. This means you need significantly more protein per meal than you did in your 40s to get the same rebuilding response. The research is clear that adults over 60 should aim for 25 to 40 grams of protein at each of 3 meals per day, not loaded into one large dinner. Your body can only use so much at once. Spreading it across 3 meals is not just preferable, it is the only way the system works. Eggs with hemp seeds at breakfast, a palm-sized portion of chicken, fish, or Greek yogurt at lunch, salmon, lean beef, or cottage cheese at dinner. That is the framework. That nutritional structure, combined with the 5 movements I described, turns today's exercise from a modest effort into a genuine rebuilding program. Here is how I want you to move forward from this moment. 3 days per week, run through all 5 movements: the controlled step down, the single leg balance hold, the slow chair sit, the lateral hip raise, and the wall-supported calf raise with a slow lower. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday works beautifully. On your off days, walk. Even 10 minutes counts. Even a walk to the end of your street and back. Movement on your rest days keeps the fluid inside your knee joint warm and circulating, which is protective for the cartilage you are working to preserve. In the first week or 2, expect to feel sore in your outer hips, the front of your thighs, and your calves. That soreness is healthy. It means the muscles are being challenged. By week 2, the soreness fades and the movements start to feel more natural. By week 3, you will notice something small but significant. You will stand up from a chair and realize you did not reach for the armrest. You will walk down a step and notice the leg did not shake the way it used to. By week 4, someone in your life will say something unprompted. Your spouse, your adult child, your neighbor. They will tell you that you seem steadier, that you are moving differently. That observation from an outside eye is one of the most meaningful milestones in rehabilitation, and it will happen for you if you commit to this. I make these videos for Liberty Aging because I have spent too many years on the wrong end of this problem. I have operated on fractured hips that did not have to fracture. I have watched patients lose their independence to a weakness that was absolutely preventable and absolutely reversible if someone had only caught the warning signs early enough and taken them seriously. Every time I had that conversation with a family in a hospital corridor, I thought about what could have been different 6 months earlier, 12 months earlier, if someone had simply paid attention to what their knees were already telling them. The stair test you did at the beginning of this video is that warning sign. The grind, the shake, the collapse, those are your knees and your muscles speaking to you clearly. Today, you listened, and that changes everything. Right now, in the comments below, I want you to tell me how your stair test went. If you stepped down with control and felt stable and confident, type the word solid. If you felt the grind, the wobble, the weakness, or the pain, type the word working, because working means you showed up, you now know what to do, and you are starting today. Solid or working. Drop it in the comments right now. If this video gave you something valuable, please subscribe to Liberty Aging so you do not miss what is coming next. I have a video coming very soon on the 3 specific warning signs that your cartilage is breaking down faster than it should be, and what you can do before it reaches the point where surgery becomes the only remaining option. Early action is the difference between a corrective exercise program and an operating table. You do not want to miss that one. And please share this video today. Send it to a friend, a sibling, a spouse, anyone in your life who is over 60 and who has quietly been holding the railing a little tighter than they used to. You may be handing them back years of their independence with a single tap of the share button. Thank you for staying with me through this entire video. Go take care of your knees, fuel your body right, and I will see you in the next one.